So what exactly is a sales engineer? This is one of the questions I had prior to pursuing that role myself, and I personally found it overwhelmingly complicated to get an actual boiled down understanding of what that role is from the perspective of a network engineer. So in a nutshell, this is what a sales engineer is. They are a technical expert on whatever the product, service, or solution that their company offers for their team. And so typically a sales engineer they don't just run off by themselves and do their own thing. They're typically paired with a sales rep. And that sales rep may hold the title of account manager or account representative. There's so many different titles out there. And the account manager, their responsibility is to actually sell and close the deal with the customer or whatnot. But they lean on sales engineers as resources to go to when they need to provide the customer with, let's say, a more detailed understanding of how a product or service works, or if they need to bring in that sales engineer to provide the customer with a presentation or demonstration of how exactly that product or service works. So another thing that you'll want to note about the role of a sales engineer is because it falls on the sales side of the business, you will be making commissions, which means you do want to take a closer look at your compensation when it comes to your total comp, because it's slightly different than if you were pursuing something like the role of a network engineer or a support engineer, in the sense where the number you're giving is typically what you'll be making upon completing that year or whatnot. Like your base salary is the only number you necessarily have to pay attention to in the role of, say, a network engineer. But over on the sales side, your salary is split up into a ratio of what your total comp is. So let's say your total comp is $100,000, since that's an easy number to divide. You might be given the ratio of, say, 60-40 or 70-30, which means your base salary of that $100,000 salary is going to be $70,000 a year. But then your bonus or commission in this case would be 30% of that ratio, which would be the extra $30,000. So if your team meets that quota for the year, then hey, you get that $30,000 bonus. But if you don't hit that quota, and let's say you don't make it at all, then you don't see that bonus, and you can only rely essentially on that base salary of $70,000 a year, which in this case is still a lot of money, since we're talking about $100,000. But those are just some things to keep in mind. Base salary is what you're going to be able to rely on and expect that's going to come out every single month, whereas that extra $30,000 bonus will come sporadically throughout the year, dependent upon the sales that your team makes collectively. Well, that pretty much sums up the role of a sales engineer. Hope you found this video helpful. If you did, go ahead and smash that like button and consider subscribing to the channel, as I'll be sharing my own personal reasons why I made the switch from a support engineer to a sales engineer. As always, folks, thanks for viewing, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.